Let's go out to the Supreme Court right now, where we did not get the decision on abortion today, but we did on another big case, as the Supreme Court has overturned New York's concealed gun law. This was a statute that requires an individual to establish proper cause in order to obtain a license, violates the Constitution by preventing law-abiding citizens with ordinary self-defense needs from exercising their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms in public for self-defense. New York's State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin had been a long-term case against New York's handgun licensing law. New York's court defined proper cause to require applicants to show a special need to defend themselves and not just wanted to protect themselves. The plaintiffs claim that the Second Amendment gives people the right to bear arms there. So that decision there overturns New York concealed gun law. And happening right now is the governor, Kathy Hochul of New York, responding to just this breaking news right now. We want to go to that. She said she is willing to have a special legislation come in, a special session to come in to talk about more gun laws in New York here. She is not happy right now. Let's go to it here on Live Now from Fox.
Longer can we strike the balance? Only if a firearm regulation is consistent with this nation's historical tradition may a court conclude that the individual's conduct falls outside the Second Amendment's unqualified command. Shocking. Absolutely shocking that they have taken away our right to have reasonable restrictions. We can have restrictions on speech. You can't yell fire in a crowded theater. But somehow there's no restrictions allowed on the Second Amendment. This is New York. We don't back down. We fight back. And we'll be alerting the public, the media, in the very short term of exactly what our language that we've been analyzing. We have language we'd like to now enact into law. We'll be sharing that with the leaders. And I'm sorry this dark day has come. That we're supposed to go back to what was in place since 1788 when the Constitution of the United States of America was ratified. And I would like to point out to the Supreme Court justices that the only weapons at the time were muskets. I'm prepared to go back to muskets. I don't think they envision the high-capacity assault weapon magazines intended for battlefields as being covered from this, but I guess we're just going to have to disagree. So I'll return to our purpose of being here and let people know that our new laws are going to be looking at restrictions on sensitive locations, changing the permitting process, creating a threshold for those. We're going to have training requirements. We're going to make sure that people have concealed weapons as specified training. We have a whole lot of ideas. And also look at a system where businesses and private property owners would have the right to protect themselves. So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We're just getting started here. And today, we are here to talk about another step that we think is so important to protect the lives of our children in a school setting. We lost children and teacher, local teacher, Scott Beagle. His parents are here. We lost people in Uvalde, lost children, teachers. Today we're taking our rage and turning it into action. Earlier this month, I signed a nation-leading comprehensive law to strengthen our gun legislation, close loopholes, raise the age to buy a semi-automatic weapon from 18 to 21, and I call on Congress to do the same, as well as investing over $250 million into gun violence prevention programs. I also recently signed into law legislation to strengthen our red flag law, which expanded the list of people who can file an extreme risk order of protection. But ahead of those new laws going into effect next month, I want you to know our administration is being aggressive, working on a robust, comprehensive public awareness campaign to educate key groups, particularly those in schools, that there is a now overhauled red flag law. We're partnering with in-person training, virtual trainings this summer with school board members, school attorneys, superintendents, teachers, principals, parents, as well as educating over 660,000 educators. We think this is so important. People need to know what this means, what rights are behind it, as well as making sure that we're having roundtables with local law enforcement, county law enforcement, all led by our state police, and additional training for our state police as well. So we're creating a comprehensive package of digital and physical education materials that'll be released in the next couple of weeks. So I wanted to address that as well. But we're not stopping there either. We're not stopping. We now have the strongest gun safety laws in America, but as I continue to say, there is more work to be done. And ultimately, I believe that we'll be judged by history and how we respond to this crisis. Do we stand up with courage? Do we make the right decisions? Do we put the lives of others first? The right of a child to stay alive in school versus the right of someone to carry a gun. I know where I come down on that equation. And we'll be judged if we did everything we could. Today we're taking a further step. I'm proud to sign Alyssa's law to protect the children who sit in a classroom so innocent, just trying to get an education, just trying to listen, trying to make friends. And I want to thank our sponsors for their vision. Senator Elijah Mecklen-Relnick, I want to thank him for being a tremendous leader in our legislature, and Assembly Member Kenneth Zabrowski. The two of you stood up. You stood up when we needed leadership, and I thank you for that. This legislation will require school districts to evaluate and consider the installation of silent panic alarms in school buildings. They'll alert law enforcement directly in the case of an active shooter. Now, why is that so important? This goes beyond the traditional panic alarm systems, a panic button at a desk. You can do that, but there's new technology. There's wireless panic buttons, computer and cell phone apps. Suffolk districts and school districts in Suffolk County already using a cell phone app, which actually bypasses 911. Why do you want to do that? Because as we saw with the shooting in Buffalo, sometimes the response is not what you need in terms of the dispatch. And we saw in Uvalde, too much time was lost, way too much time was lost. So you bypass 911, you go right to law enforcement. An app can show that there is an active shooter in a school to draw the attention that second, so no time is lost. Because we saw in Uvalde and Parkland, police response time is imperative to saving lives. So teachers and staff will be able to discreetly alert law enforcement as well as other teachers and staff in the building. It's not a mandate, but I stand by here today and ask all school districts to adopt this. Please, please consider this technology to protect your students and your staff and your administrators. It will save lives. And this law is named after a 14-year-old. I'm sure she didn't think she was a little girl, but she's a little girl to all of us. Grandma and Grandpa are here. She was born in Queens, so she's a New Yorker. She may have been educated down in Parkland, but once a Queens girl, always a Queens girl. And she was killed at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas in Parkland, along with our beloved teacher, Scott. But following the tragedy, her parents, Lori and Dr. Ilan Al-Hadef, they founded a foundation in her memory. And they've tirelessly advocated for the adoption of a silent panic alarm system in schools because they believe that that could save lives. So I want to thank the parents for what you've done and your dedication to ensuring that our kids are safe in schools. And I'm so in awe of how you could channel that pain into something so powerful, just like Linda and Michael did. You know, you're the ones we look up to. You're the ones we look up to because you're at this day after day, turning your personal tragedy into action so it doesn't happen to anyone else. And because of your hard work, states like New York are taking serious action to make sure that as many schools are covered as possible, because no child should ever have to be in fear of going to school to learn. They're not that expensive, these panic alarms. They're not that expensive. Cost of a school district could be anywhere from $2,000 to $4,000. And what that does is literally on an app. You touch that app on your phone. I don't have a phone with me. Pretend this is a phone. You push the button. You push the button. And that'll save lives. So by signing this bill into law with Alyssa and her family in mind, they shouldn't have died. They don't have to die. And I want to leave with a message for our kids who've been under such stress. The fears that I never had to worry about growing up. Generations before them didn't have this fear. And now they do. They're looking to adults to protect them. And I want them to know we'll protect you. We're going to do everything we can. So you can just lead the lives of normal children. Just be kids. Get your education. Teachers just want to teach. Teachers just want to do what they have a passion about, sharing their talents with other kids. They just look at us to protect them. This is not the end of what we're going to do. As you heard about at the opening, we have a lot of work before us, but we're ready. Because here in New York, when there's a crisis, we just stand up and take action. We don't tolerate inaction. We won't be content. We will not grow numb. We will not become desensitized to the shock every time this happens and the news goes on to another story of the day or the story of the hour. That'll never happen here in the state of New York. And I will not rest until we have done everything we can to protect our kids, our teachers, our schools, and make our communities safe again.